Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. It's not merely a repetition, but every time your intellect goes with the meaning, that creates an auspiciousness. In fact, we use the word, we create an auspicious moment, we enter into the auspiciousness. Mind has been distracted and wandering at different places. Why the mind is wandering at different places? And the answer is simple. You go back to those 9 factors. The world is suffering. The world is suffering because of first is our foolishness, unexamined life. We go by impulses, instinct, habit, past impression, from where they come. That's a long story. It comes from the vasana. I have not dealt with that area. But I have taken it forward. So the foolishness, unexamined life, and then we have likes and dislikes, and attachment and detachment, emotional dependence, intellectual paralysis, and this whole process takes a fraction of a millisecond. Then what we say, I'm upset, I have a problem, I'm suffering, I have a lot of stress and anxiety. So this should be understood. So to counter that, we use the Mangalacharan. We enter into an auspiciousness. Last time we talked about everything, every person. Relation is a honey. So we have to see how our mind interacts with the world outside, whether it causes the world is suffering or does it bring an opportunity for us to move to a higher consciousness. And it can happen in any situation, any opportunity, any problem, any adversity. That needs to be properly understood by the intellect. So once I have understood it in the intellect, then am I applying these principles in my daily life, in my personal, in my professional, in my social life? Look at the honey. He or she will do the same thing. She will repeat. And now this is, I have a thought in my mind. And this thought belongs to the world. I know I can change, but the world is not going to change. They will remain the same. And that makes me crazy. So why I stress on that, you have to apply these principles in your daily life so that your mind recovers, leaves that suffering part. I believe you are getting it. So when we apply these simple principles in our daily life, we rise in awareness. And when we rise in awareness, that brings the purity of the mind. We need that purity of the mind in order to realize the real self. Otherwise, we are committing sins every day. Oh, you are bringing the sin, it is a religious concept? No. Eastern wisdom says self insulting thoughts, speech, and action are sins. It comes from the 9 factors when I explain the word is suffering. Self. Do you know when you are going to get upset and angry? No. But now I have become angry. My intellect keeps on thinking throughout the day and realize it was just crazy. Why should I get upset? There is no reason to it. So it's I'm constantly thinking about it. What is about it? No, I should not have done it. I should have done it. This is the sin. So why you have to go to a priest to confess your sin? You understand yourself. Eastern wisdom says you understand yourself. You raise your awareness. You become, your mind is pure. How it is possible, I'm reminding you, we have covered perhaps a year ago the 5 qualities of a seeker. Kakachesta bakodhyanam, swananidra tathaivacha, alpahari, grahatyagi vidyarthi panchalakshanam. The 5 characteristics of a seeker. What are the 5? The crow's movement. They give the animal's ability. What is the crow's movement? It is the crow's adaptability and resourcefulness. We have already heard the story. A jar, half the water, and the crow puts the pebble and drinks the water. Adaptability and resourcefulness. Our intellect should be open to adaptability and resourcefulness. Bakodhyanam. Bakodhyanam means the focus like a swan while hunting. I have to hunt my ignorance, so I have to focus on these principles. Kakachesta bakodhyanam, swananidra tathaivacha. The dog's ability to sleep, if I use the word, to make you understand. The dog's ability to sleep with alertness. You are not getting a sleep. Don't force yourself to sleep. Maintain your awareness. Separate yourself from the sleep. You will get the sleep. The sleep is not a characteristic of the real self. It pertains to the mind. But anyhow, the swananidra, so who maintains the mental alertness. We are sleeping even while in a waking state. How come? I see some person and mind starts constantly thinking, agitated, in the mode of a blame and complaint. That we lose the mental alertness. Alpahari, being content with the need-based desire. That is the alpahari. Literal meaning of the alpahari is that you are taking a minimum food and being detached from the one's home. One's home, being detached with the body, mind, intellect, and the ego. So constant practice. That is the goal of the satsang. What we have been doing, now I have laid a foundation for the 5 group of practices. You already remember, we have done pranayama, we have done pratyahara, we have already done discernment at the first level. So when we do the discernment of the real and the unreal, there are 5 or 6 different stages that we will take up later. Now, the fourth practice is known as the japa. Japa. So, today we will understand japa. In Gita, you see, you have to contemplate and reflect on this, and then we will discuss about it and we will understand the meaning. In the Gita, the Krishna, the great master says, I am one syllabled Om. I am the mantra. I am not the body. I am not the intellect. I am not the mind. I am not the attachment and detachment, all those 9 factors. I am not the ego, then I am the one syllabled Om. So that Om is a symbol and also a mantra pointing to the real self. Pointing to the real self. So that is why we always say that it is better to do the repetition of Om. So Om, when I say Om, let me remind myself of the real self. It becomes the japa. It becomes the mantra. When you can do the practice all the time, mentally, all the time. Somebody is talking and you are listening. Can you bring that Om in your mind? Yes, it is possible. So that becomes also the japa. I'm just giving a introduction and then we will go deeply what to do and how to do. Normally, in our tradition, we say there are 3 kinds of the japa. There are many classifications. We can do the japa with a low voice, with a loud voice, whispering sound, mentally. Mentally, we can do it. Even when I'm talking to you, can I do the Om Japa? You have already separated the crazy mind from the intellect. You cannot have an emotional dependence if you are doing it mentally. That is one classification. There are different types of mantras by which you can control others. You can, second factor, you can raise your awareness and you can purify the mind. Japa, we simply say it is repeating the mantra. Japa, we are taking the fourth group of practice. Pranayama, we have done. Pratyahara, we have understood and we have already included in our practice. The third is the discernment. We have already understood at length. And then fourth is the japa. We are talking of this japa. Even the Mangalacharan mantra, Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu, that also becomes the japa. Mentally, you can repeat Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya with the meaning and contemplation inside my head. Asato Ma Satgamaya, that guy is crazy. No, my mind is crazy. Asato Ma Satgamaya, that is the message. So I'm repeating it. So I'm repeating and understanding the meaning. So I'm contemplating. So my craziness dissolves. Do you see? That is how the mantra has to be applied. Any number of mantras. Millions of mantras are there. They are long mantras, one syllabled mantras. So japa literal meaning is repetition. Repetition of a word. And normally people say that a repetition of a word that takes me to the spirituality. Okay, that is also okay. Logical understanding. We also say that japa is a powerful tool for a spiritual growth, purification of the mind, and even it can help us to reach to the state of awakening. It can bring an end to the cycle of birth and death. So it means it can remove the world is suffering by simply repetition. No, repetition with contemplation and reflection. Repetition with the meaning of that particular mantra will help us. Otherwise, it is a mechanical repetition. It will not work. You can do the japa with the beads, without the beads. You can do it with the fingers. I have already explained. We have done in the very beginning of Om Shanti. In the beginning, we have done. So there are many ways. So people have a lot of confusion that what should be done, how should be done. So we will, in couple of these sessions, we should understand it clearly. A repetition of any mantra is japa, we say. Why we practice japa? We purify the mind, we cultivate devotion, we attain awakening. Anyone can do the practice, anyone, with or without. So there is another issue that is surrounded with the japa. Lot of teachers say that no, you should be initiated into the mantra by a teacher. Yes and no. If you are a seeker, it is better to start with it. What to start and how to start, that we are going to understand. Where to practice japa? Anytime, anywhere, in any location. How to practice japa? With a little bit of devotion. Devotion means that I recognize there is a reflection in my mind, a recognition what the word in the japa means. Asato ma satnam. I'm repeating asato ma satnam, and my mind is complaining to you. So that is not a devotion. Do you see that? So, no, I have done, how many times I have 1 hour of mantra repetition, and I came out of that 1 hour, and then I start blaming and complaining and reacting. So it means it's a mechanical repetition. So that is why we use the word japa has to be practiced with devotion, with understanding, with the mantra. So these are the simple meaning. Now I want to connect the last session. I think last session I discussed about it, the 4 types of intellect. And then I also discussed about 4 powers of the intellect. Power of faith, 1, and power of decision, power to hold on to that choice, and power to regulate. These 4 powers should be invoked in any mantra, and any mantra can become powerful. I told you, perhaps, she wrote to me, which is the most powerful mantra, send me. I am totally upset. So it means I already claimed that I know about my mantra, I know about the japa. No, that question is wrong. Any mantra can become powerful if I am powerful. If I am weak, how I am weak? All the 9 factors. I'm repeating, you have to contemplate and reflect on this. 9 factors makes me weak. To utter a mantra, to utter any syllable is japa. So now you see what there are 3 basic factors. Japa, we say repetition. Japa. There are two syllables in this word. So that which destroys the death, that which destroys the suffering is known as the japa. From today, you have to start doing the japa mentally, non-verbally, mentally, all the time in all the locations. And do it minimum for a week, whenever you remember. So after a week, you will see that now you are able to recall that repetition of a mantra frequently. You don't miss. And when you don't miss, then you will find out there is a change. It happens. It brings your mind to a higher level of awareness. So the one meaning of the japa. Now see what I said. One esoteric meaning is that which destroys the cycle of birth and death. That is the meaning of the japa. So ultimately it comes to the world is suffering, mind is impure, so it purifies the mind. So one is the japa practice. Now what about what includes into the japa? A mantra. And what is mantra? So there are many meanings of the mantra. We need to contemplate. We need to discern. So mantra. So again it has two syllables. So man is the mind. So here it means to think, to contemplate. And the meaning of the second syllable, the tra, means the tool, instrument. Tool and instrument. As we go to the Home Depot and Lowe's, we have those instruments. So what exactly is the instrument to think and contemplate and reflect is what the mantra is. There is another meaning, again, which destroys the impure mind. It removes the projection, brings the tremendous focus. So japa, mantra. Japa is a practice. Mantra is a word, it is a syllable. It also helps us to move into the discernment and dispassion. You pick up any mantra, Shantoham, Shantoham. I'm angry and I'm repeating mentally Shantoham. But I have not contemplated on the meaning. Shantoham means I am the peace. So when I am not contemplating the meaning while saying Shantoham, it will not work. Do you see? It will not work. Majority of the people do it. No, I have to do with the meaning. Contemplation and reflection. That is what the Patanjali is talking about. So I'm saying Shantoham and my mind is wandering. My honey is disturbing me doing meditation. How the honey can disturb you in meditation? Because your mind is focused on the honey. It is not focused on the mantra. Ashok says yes. Now I understand. Do you see? I have to reflect on. I have to logically understand this. Om Namah Shivaya. Om, pointing to the pure consciousness. Namaha, I surrender, means I keep aside my ego. Then what is only left is the Shivaya. That is one meaning of one way of contemplation on the Om Namah Shivaya. So every time I am saying Om Namah, when I am not, then suffering is also not. I am not means I am not the body and the mind. Shivaya. So either we have an image of the Shiva. I bring the thought image of the Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. I see the thought image in the vacuum and in the space. Or inside my head or the heart. That will work. I'm just giving a normal introduction. You see that now in a mala we have 108 beads. So one word mantra, Shantoham. It is one word. So I have to do one repetition, one mala, means 108 times. Om Namah Shivaya. There are three words. So I have to do three repetitions, means three mala. Three times multiplied by 108. We'll understand the secret behind it. That is the meaning. Om Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It's a 4 words. It means 4 mala I have to do it. Minimum. It's very easy to do it. Let us do it Shantoham. But my mind is very impure. It doesn't even focus on the mantra. So even though it is one word, Shantoham, I have to do minimum 5 malas. Then only my mind can focus. So the rules are very flexible based on the temperament of an individual and the teacher after understanding that what one requires. So you see that there are 3 parts. Japa, I have explained briefly, mantra, and then the mala. Mala, either you can take the beads or you can use the fingers, segments of a finger. So 4 segments, 1, 2, 3, 4. Shantoham, 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 Shantoham. And then I go to Shantoham. So there are 16 segments of a fingers and you repeat it. You keep on repeating it. So I have repeated, I have come here, I have reached here. So from the other hand, I put it 1 repetition. I repeated 2nd repetition, 3rd repetition, 4th repetition, 5th repetition, 6th repetition. 7th repetition is equal to 108. 1 mala I have done. So what happens? Those who are extremely in stress or any time you are getting upset, you are not able to discern and you start with it. So your body, your mind, your emotions, all are engaged into it. That japa brings you back. We are having a general introduction and then I will come to the specific aspects. And there are many types of the malas. There are Rudraksh mala. Jerry and David, you have a Rudraksh. Rudra means the Shiva, Aksh means the eye. Even though it is a plant seed, it means the eyes of a Shiva. 3rd eye of the Shiva. The discernment, higher level of awareness. We have a crystal mala. We have sandalwood mala. There are many, basil mala. So don't get into the nitty-gritty. Don't get into the wrong perception. I cannot do it with this mala. I have to, because that teacher tells me. That is not written in the teachings of the japa. One thing has to be sure. Any mantra, any word that you like Om Namah Shivaya, you like it. It seems to be very close to you. Use it. You like it, increase the liking by doing the japa. But once you have chosen the mantra, you have to continue minimum 3 to 6 months to a year. No, I don't have enough time. When you are driving, when you are eating, mentally you just do the repetition. Many people say that, oh, you will commit sin if you are doing it all the time. No, it has nothing to do with the sin. You have to be very clear about it. Any mantra that you like Asatoma Satgamaya, that is also good. But you have to do it with a meaning in your intellect. Asatoma Satgamaya. My mind is too much distracted. I recognize it. So I will do asatoma satagamaya. That distraction is the false, and focus is the real. So you have to give the meaning to it. If you don't give the meaning, then it will not. It will work. It will give you bit of relaxation sometime. Second part is very important, that I have done it today, I feel relaxed, and tomorrow I forget. It will not work. That is why I said 3 to 6 months to a year. You just follow it all the time. I started following Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya long back in my 90s. I used to travel by the bus. And then what happened, after 6 months, now my mind does not remember, but my thumb goes here and then I remember. Do you understand what I'm saying? After 6 months, the body has been tuned to the mantra in such a way that the moment I fold my fingers and I say, oh, I feel the sensation of touch and I remember Om Namah Shivaya. And then what happened? Then I did not touch it, and still it was the Om Namah Shivaya. And then I used to see the thought image of my hand in front of me, and I say, here is Om Namah Shivaya. So these experiences will help you to reach to that higher level of awareness. So we will also understand, just a brief introduction. Pick up this week, you pick up any mantra. Otherwise, I will tell you the different. Asatoma Satgamaya is one. Om Namah Shivaya is done. Shivoham, Shantoham, single syllable. Om, Om. Now you're asking me to, I don't want to follow a card. Can you say I am peace? Yes, that should also become the mantra. Don't worry about it. We have to see the technical aspect of it. Well, if you are saying Om, they have discovered that its effect, the sound effect, is much more than the English phrase, I am the peace. So be very clear about it. Why I want to make it clear, so that you all are seekers, pick up any mantra and you start doing it. Never forget. At least you remember that you have done today 10 times. 10 times means that your mind reminded you to move from the unconsciousness to consciousness. That is what the reminder is. And that is going to help you rise in awareness. Close your eyes. We will continue about this japa in our next session. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. One thing. Being comfortable and carefree, that is also done. And Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. You know the meaning. May there be happiness. Do you see the connection between the Mangalacharan and the mantra? Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. I said so, but what your mind is saying is the mind going back to the thoughts that you don't want in your head. And if it is going there, in that case, the mantra and the japa will work effectively. No, it's not working. No, I have to repeat it. Do you see? Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all, wholeness in all, holiness in all. Wholeness, holiness is nothing but the real self. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be an auspiciousness for all, auspiciousness for all. Means I enter into the auspiciousness. If there is an auspiciousness for all, it means it is present everywhere. Reflection on any mantra is vital. It is extremely important. If that is not done, then the impulsive mind, the habitual mind will continue its thought habit. It will not change. It will not work. And in order to get rid of that habit, you see, we add, now you see the relation between the pranayama, pratyahara, discernment, and the mantra. What I say, you look inside the forehead in the space, pick a point, drop the mantra Om Shanti. Do you see all the four factors are together? Only a seeker can bring all the four practices into one. Om Shanti, now you have understood the japa. And then we say, maintain the steadiness in the body. And pratyahara, because it is withdrawing the mind inside, you are holding on the mind inside the forehead, not outside. And then you start breathing quick and fast into the chest. Just continues. So, I'm adding more. You see that if you have a power of discernment, my friends, I'm adding 4 powers of, do you remember? Awakening is easy, but purification of the mind is damn difficult, challenging. Power to hold on to Om Shanti. Power of a choice. Other thoughts are coming, and I am choosing the breathing and the stillness in the Om Shanti. Very subtle, very easy on one hand, and extremely challenging on the other hand. Continue. Continue. In the very beginning, we have been laying importance on these tools and the techniques. Oh, are you doing Om Shanti? Yes. I'm breathing? Yes. I'm breathing through the rib cage? Yes. I'm breathing expansion and contraction of the rib cage? Yes. You're doing the same step. But now you are doing it at a very subtler level, applying the four powers of the intellect. One, Pratyahara, you understand. The mind which is scattered outside is gathered inside at a point inside the forehead, and you are breathing rhythmically in the state of the stillness. You are taking care of these factors. Otherwise, we will continue to remain in the kindergarten. Then we will give a big talk, A for apple. No, I believe you are understanding. These talks are only for seekers. Continue breathing. So, if you are reflecting on the step, you know the power of the intellect, power to hold on to the choice. And then it becomes very easy for you to continue breathing. Continue breathing. I simply say continue breathing. It means you are continuing the mantra also. You are continuing. Power of faith, decision. You have taken a decision. Power to hold on to the choice and power to control and regulate. Very simple aspects, but we tend to forget. Why? Tend to forget because of the inherent tendencies taking over the intellect. Creates a delusion. Now stop this, do nothing. Pay attention to the flow of the breath. Can we have the attention on the breath, on the flow of the breath at the same time? Can we also continue with Om Shanti? Yes, it is possible at a deeper and a higher level. Just do it. See if it is possible. Couple of sessions after understanding the japa, we will see that can we sustain the practice of meditation for an hour. And it is possible. Now you see that you are aware of the flow of the breath, you are doing Om Shanti. We extend this practice again to withdraw the mind within. How? Breathe, start breathing deep, silent and slow. As you inhale, move the mind from the top center of the head, falling down into the spine, reaching to the tailbone, and you are singing mentally. You have a total freedom. While you are singing, you are bringing the emotions. Instead of emotional dependence, we want an emotional freedom by you are singing in your mind. Om Shanti, and the mind moves from the top center of the head to the tailbone. And as you exhale, mind moves from the tailbone to the top center of the head. Om Shanti. You're doing it without moving the lips and the tongue. How come? If you are doing it, your mind is working on your mind only. Power to hold on. Power to regulate. Power of fade. Power of choice. You have chosen to be in a session these simple principles will become a play and a fun for you. Then you are definitely a higher seeker. And if the impulsive mind plays with you and you get carried away, you can think of that. And now leave this step also. Pick up the 16 segments. You are aware of it. You have a thought image of those 4 segments of each fingers. 16 segments. And yes, today also you pick up the same mantra, Om Shanti. We will start picking up another mantra from our following sessions so that we will understand clearly what is the japa. But again, remember, you see, Om Shanti, you are not physically touching. and it's the mind's skin inside is touching. Mind's tongue is saying Om Shanti. It's the mind's ear is listening Om Shanti. So you see how many sense organs and the motor organs are engaged. Doesn't give you a sense of freedom? There's a simple explanation. Through your eyes, you're looking something extremely beautiful outside. Your eyes doesn't want to close because of the mental obsession. And now the opposite. With that thought amaze, you are doing Om Shanti. Are you not enjoying the freedom from the diktat of these sense organs? That impulsive mind is not there. See that. Om Shanti. Continue, my friends. And now leave this step also. Look inside the cave of your heart. Visualize the triangle of any color pointing upward. Moving the mind on the side of a triangle. Dropping Om Shanti. On each side of a triangle, clockwise, anti-clockwise. When you find mind is syncing with the triangle and the mantra, that is the moment. Push the mind deep inside the cave of your heart, singing Om mentally. Om is pushing the mind deep inside. Om, mind seems to stop. You drop Shanti. And now everything stops. No mantra, no movement of the body. Or you may say emptiness, etc., silence, nothingness, etc., absorption. And you stay there in that state. only the intellect comes to rescue. The four powers of the intellect helps you to remain consciously absorbed. Do you see that? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We will share our experiences now. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. It was a pretty intense meditation for me. I started, listening to the lesson of the japa. As I closed my eyes, I said to myself and realized that it's not the japa itself, but it's the execution of everything we've learned. So it's taking on the pranayama, the pratyeka, the discernment, and the japa all simultaneously. And it just set me into this mode of, it was a real test, because when I closed my eyes, I forgot to turn off my email. I forgot to shut my phone down. And during the breathing, which seemed to have gone on for a very long time, my emails were buzzing, my phone was ringing, text messages were coming through, and it didn't disrupt me. And I recognized that, and I stayed with the mantra the entire time through it. That just led me to this really quiet, settled, peaceful space, to the fact that when you started chanting the Om Shanti at the end, it actually sent chills through my body, which was a different experience. So thank you. And I will listen to this again and continue to contemplate and reflect.
Beautiful. You have summarized everything. Fact is that pranayama, pratyahara, discernment, and the japa all go together. All go together. And we can realize this by the four powers of the intellect. So in the last, that is why I picked up that. In the last session of the discernment, power of faith, power of choice, power to hold on, then only we can reach to the higher states of the consciousness. So everything is internalized. What Stephen is saying, everything is internalized. So now it is internalized. The phone is buzzing, the laptop, and etc. All these things are happening. It doesn't disturb you. So when you do the practice with the teacher and you recognize that, realize that, it will happen again in the world also. You remain calm. Beautiful. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. The world is suffering is an interesting background noise. Is an interesting message for us, and I realize somebody talking.
Now it will not come. I know.
Sorry.
Yes.
The world is suffering is an interesting concept that I focused on because, yes, the world is suffering. We can't do anything about it, but we can control how we adapt to it and get around to it. So the japa will be a very powerful tool to use in that suffering world. So I look forward to practicing that on a daily basis. When we were doing the meditation, I just had a blank in my head until we got to the japa, and then it was like this indigo color, and I'm like, no, that can't be. Why is it a color? It can't be. It's just blank. And as soon as I started having that conversation, my image of it being indigo color just went away. So I just had a very peaceful, deep meditation.
You see the power of the intellect. You said no indigo. Why? And it is God. So ultimately, it is the power of the intellect through the discernment helps us to progress. That is what we have been saying. That is one way to explain it, and beautifully said. Yes, pick up any mantra, and when you are alone, no one is around you, you do it loudly. Om Shanti. Do it physically and loudly. Do it physically and loudly. When you are with the people, do it mentally, physically, with physically touching, or do it mentally without it. But it is good to do it physically touching in the first couple of weeks. So that why? So that the body is also adapting itself. The body is otherwise follows the unconscious, impulsive tendency of the mind. And that is going to help us a great deal. Beautiful. Thank you, David. How are you, Jerry?
Sorry, I'm good, thank you. It was a really absorbed, quiet, steady meditation. The idea of just being rooted in the knowledge, having our intellect be inspired from our real self, and then practicing using our mind and all our senses as our instrument. It's just a constant daily practice.
Yes, beautifully said. You see that I will repeat the same. The power of faith, power of choice or decision, power to hold to that choice, and power to control or regulate. One master discussed in this manner, which appealed to me, and that is what, my mind is distracted, so you bring those powers, 4 powers. Remind yourself, I have to power to hold, power to make a choice. The mind is distracted, so I have to make a choice. Om Shanti only, not to the other thought. So even if you remember, it will ease the mind. That is what happens. How are you, Dennis?
I find, thank you, my meditation was very focused during the breathing. The mind was chanting and observing the space, then observing the breathing, then focused on the japa, and finally absorbed in the space. So I believe these 4 powers were present there, and I will definitely pick the mantra and will start doing it. Actually, some time ago I was trying to do that, but I guess that I was lacking some understanding, and one of the powers, the one that holding on to I was lacking, so I was not doing it consistently. So I'll try again. Thank you.
You see, Dennis, you rightly said. When we do it for some days and then we forget. That is why the masters have created a concept. In one of the texts says, no, you have to get initiated by a teacher. Master will choose the mantra for you. And the master says, perform some kind of a ritual, and it says this mantra will click and will change your life. So now that impression is implanted in your mind, and then you start doing it. And they also make you scared if you don't do it. And then you do it regularly, and the result comes, and then you thank the teacher. You have to thank yourself. We have to be very clear. You all are seekers. I will not talk about this to a novice, to the beginners, even to your session. So, but if they listen to the session, let them listen. Okay, you listen to a lot of things. You forget it. How are you, Terry?
Well, that's why I'm wearing the headphones. It was a very intense, sort of more intense than usual.
Good.
And I had already sort of started trying to do
Yeah.
Yeah. While other things were going on, but I noticed when I got to the slow and silent breathing, when I tried to go to the next part, something just pulled me right back to it. And I think it's because I don't breathe deeply, so my mind or something is telling me to work on that.
Yes.
But otherwise,
Terry, you work on the mantra, not on the breath. The breath will become deeper on its own.
Just focus.
Yes, power to hold on to the choice. What choice you have made? You have made a choice on the mantra. You have not made a choice on the breath.
Okay.
Did you understand? So once you made a choice, that is my optimum limit of breathing. Om Shanti. Okay, I understood it. So I'm keeping on the same rhythm of the breath. You do it 10, 15 times, your breath will become longer and deeper by itself. But if you are fighting with your mind, if your mind says this is the problem, first I have to regulate my breath, will make my breath deeper, and then I will chant the mantra, it will never happen.
Okay.
So, yes, that's a good understanding. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. The mind was calm. It's like that when I'm repeating a mantra with understanding, I'm actually replacing my habitual thinking, which is like the thought which is coming in my mind. And then when I'm saying Om Shanti, then I'm believing in it that I am peace. Then it will be like it's my choice to stay in peace. So mind remains calm.
Definitely, Vaibhav. That is what I said. Power of faith. First, power of intellect. Intellect now has inquired everything. It has understood everything. It has practiced and gained some kind of an experience. So, logical understanding plus an experience. So, there is a power of faith in the intellect. And that is what you are saying. Yes, power of believing. It works. And after that, we will also drop everything and we will see what is that state of consciousness. That is what our nature is. How are you, Ashok? Can I say you something if you don't mind? First, unmute. Yes, unmute. Your mind simply goes to your honey. I know that you love your honey so much. So until the session is over, you maintain that peace. Ashok, how are you, sir?
सर मैं ठीक हूँ, थैंक यू सो मच। और मैं सर ये पूछ रहा हूँ कि जैसे ओम नमः शिवाय करते हैं ना, तो ओम शिवाय नमः भी करते हैं, तो इनमें क्या व्हाट इज डिफरेंस बिटवीन?
You see, he is caught in a delusion. There is a mantra Om Namah Shivaya, and the same mantra is spoken Om Shivaya Namah. And he is asking the difference. Why you are going for a difference? Are you doing PhD? Choose any mantra and start doing it. That is what I explained in the today's session. Don't get attached and obsessed with these smaller things. You are a seeker. Pick up the bigger picture. Pick up the bigger picture. Your first name is Ashok, second name is Bharadwaj. So I say Ashok Bharadwaj. If I say Bharadwaj Ashok, do you change? No, I change. So we pick up small issues. Don't pick up. You are a seeker. Don't pick up the small issues. It makes no sense. But yes, teachers will make a sense. Why? Because they like to exploit you. Don't do that. Be very clear. Last point, it prompted me to say something. Valmiki is the name of the first poet, first spiritual poet, or first poet who wrote all the principles of yoga in his text. So there is a mantra Ram, Ram, Ram. Can you, first syllable is Ra, second syllable is right? Now turn it opposite. What comes? Mara, Mara, Mara. Now the meaning of the Ram, that consciousness which permeates everything. And the meaning of the Mara means the death. And Ashok, you already know it, but you don't contemplate. What you know? This Valmiki was a hardcore criminal, and the master gave him the mantra Ram. Returning home, he forget whether it is Ram or Mara. He started doing Mara, 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 Mara. He realized and got awakened, and he wrote this piece of the text, which is extremely famous, Valmiki Ramayana. So mind has to have a strong will to understand and follow the journey. That is all for today. Thank you very much. We'll meet in our next
Thank
session.
you.
Thank you.